catastrophic damage.
Devastation. World War III.
A night of destruction.
Within 5-10 seconds, it goes from dead quiet to a jet engine taking off.
Now, an understanding of what's lost.
The back wall was knocked down, glass everywhere, debris.
Who needs help?
So I had to kick her door in and go in and literally get her and carry her out the house.
And hope that Southwest Ohio will recover.
We care. We're going to do absolutely anything that we can to be of help.
Breaking news on 9 on your side.
Devastation in Dayton. Deadly tornadoes rip through towns just to our north. Tonight, residents are really going through destroyed homes and businesses, looking for what they can salvage. We have team coverage tonight. Let's start with my co-anchor, Tanya O'Rourke, who's surveying the damage in Trotwood. Tanya.
Yeah, Kristen, and this is one of the worst homes that we've seen for sure. This is the home, we're told, of an 85-year-old couple. This is where you could tell they would eat dinner every night. Maybe they watched television last night in that room. What I can tell you tonight is we are told that they are okay, despite what you're seeing here, despite the fact that this giant limb is in their front room and that their house is really destroyed. You look over here at this house, it looks so much better. You can see there's roofers already there trying to tidy up and button down this house. And we talked to the folks that live in that home, and they said they cannot stay here tonight. It might be inhabitable at some point, but not right now. You can see the windows broken out too, and lots of stuff here with the eaves going on in that house. But they look at this house and they think we are so incredibly lucky. We want to go to Dan Carroll. He is up in Chopper 9 right now taking a bit of a survey, as you will, from the sky. Dan?
Well, right now we are looking at an area that is called Air Hill. It is about halfway between Brookville and Trotwood. And this is another area that got heavily hit by the storms that came through. And this is a lot of what we've been seeing this afternoon. A lot of work going on rooftops, getting those tarps in place to try and protect these homes from any further damage. And really, if that is the extent of the damage to your home, you can probably consider yourself lucky, because there's a lot of homes in this area that are literally, there is really very little or nothing left. Again, the neighbors out here picking up debris, getting that out of the way. Here's another home with heavy damage to the roof, and it'll probably take more than a top to secure this home. And take a look at that garage door, how that is just bowed out. We're seeing that in a lot of these homes where sections of wall just came completely blowing out onto the yard behind, or in the back of the home, on the side of the home, as the tornadoes hit. Another home in this area very heavily damaged by the strong storms that came through. So again, another home that's probably going to take more than a top, or a tarp, I should say, to get back to where they used to be. I'm Dan Carroll in Chopper 9.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. It is an ever-evolving situation out here tonight. Here is the very latest of what we know right now. Officials say several tornadoes touched down last night, including several at EF3 strength. One person did die. It's an 81-year-old man named Melvin Hanna. The Salina resident was killed when a parked car, imagine this, was thrown into his home. It killed him while he slept. Dozens of others are nursing injuries from the storms. Governor Mike DeWine has declared a state of emergency in 3 counties, that is Mercer, Greene, and Montgomery counties. The governor toured the damage today in Beaver Creek and other areas, and this afternoon, President Donald Trump tweeted that the White House will support the state in cleanup and recovery. And though this devastation is widespread, one storm damage victim in Harrison Township says it could have been so much worse.
What we're thankful for is the people who are still here alive to talk about it, because we can rebuild that. We can't rebuild people. So this is my faith in humanity, and I'm emotional, but I thank you.
And it is the resounding thing, the thing we keep hearing over and over and over again. Only one life was lost. There were people injured, but one life. And it is really, truly astounding to think, when you look at something like this, that could be. Our chief meteorologist, Steve Raleigh, has been in Beaver Creek all day. He's been with the National Weather Service, at least for portions of the day. Steve, what are they looking for?
Well, the interesting thing, Tanya, is looking for exactly what you're talking about. As you say in Beaver Creek, the scenes are similar over here. We have, of course, all the trees and the limbs all strewn throughout the neighborhood. We have an area up here by an apartment that obviously is uninhabitable. And then there's other damage strewn across the community. And the National Weather Service takes the time to go community to community to find out what happened with this tornado survey. Now, should you care? Why? What's the point? As it turns out, it might just save your life in the future. Julie Diane Reed walks the streets of Beaver Creek surveying damage, big and small. Julie takes pictures, then the team drives to the next location. All the while, Julie uses her 25 years of experience to determine exactly what hit this area.
What we're doing at this point is to try to get a feel for where is the edge of the tornado damage, both width as well as length. Because as you see, there's sometimes a very abrupt difference between completely unscathed area to, minor damage to a lot more significant damage.
Devastating, catastrophic, but in some cases not as bad. Julie's working to get the size, length, and timing of the tornado on the ground in this neighborhood as she coordinates with 4 other teams working the Miami Valley.
We communicate then, we have a person back at the office who we're kind of in constant contact with in terms of, okay, here's where it topped out here and here's where we're going.
Julie tells me that home insurance or federal assistance actually plays very little into her survey. As she says, everybody knows damage is damage.
So we're trying to get more of that research so we as radar operators can go in with greater confidence and say, this is a tornado emergency. We have a confirmed high-end tornado heading through Beaver Creek.
The purpose is simple: help save lives.
So we're gathering this information to try and correlate to help improve future warnings.
Here's a good example. You're looking at these trees that were snapped up top on some of the limbs. Now, Julie would look at that and say, hey, that could be EF1 or EF2 damage. But as we showed you, some of the uninhabitable areas on the second floor indicate, well, that's a stronger system. Obviously, taking out a brick building or cutting half of that apartment and just knocking it out of there, that would be more of the strength of an EF3. Now, they're going to collate all of this information of the 5 teams. And sure, they're going to put out some preliminary information. We'll have more tonight and certainly at 11 o'clock tonight. But it's going to take days or weeks to really glean what they found out so they can improve the safety and the next time hopefully be, well, just give even more lead time. Because I'll leave you with this, Tanya. That staff at the Wilmington office had 50 tornado warnings last night between 3 and 4 people to cover. They just did an outstanding job.
They sure did, and it's proven by the lack of loss of life, for a better way to put it. Thanks so much, Chief Meteorologist Steve Raleigh out there in Beaver Creek. And folks, let me just leave you with this, Kristen. You see all these folks, they're starting to hammer and pull things off of their home, hammer up some cardboard or some boards to keep button up their home, and we're hearing chainsaws. So the sounds of crickets and birds tonight, you can hear hammers in the distance, are going to be replaced by those hammers and chainsaws, at least for tonight and probably the next several days. Kristen, back to you.
Tanya, it's that push forward always.